I'm Justin Hayek, investment advisor with PI Financial. Join me on a ride with today's top CEOs. Hear the stories of their greatest achievements and failures. Get the inside on their secrets to investing and the latest on their next big deal. This is Car Ride Confessions of a CEO. Joining me on today's ride is Amir Hayeri, founder of Diabits. Diabits is a mobile app that monitors a user's glucose and activity level to forecast future glucose levels with great accuracy. This innovative idea is set to revolutionize the way diabetics manage the disease. Diabits was awarded Investment Opportunity of the Year at the Off the Radar Pitch Competition hosted by Cambridge House International.
Tell us about yourself, tell us about Diabits.
We wrote an app to actually visualize the data, and we put together a very simple machine learning algorithm that was able to pull together data from a continuous glucose monitor as well as a Fitbit, back then it was a Fitbit, heart rate and activity from a Fitbit. And it essentially learned glucose behavior based on time and historical data, and it made a projection of where the system thought it's going to go.
Okay.
So we tested on the pilot study at BC Children's Hospital. We got 8 really good data sets, and we found out not only it's accurate, it's actually really, really accurate. It's accurate and to the point of predicting glucose values 60 minutes ahead of time, so the prediction horizon is pretty long, as well as the accuracy of the value is around 95% of the actual value.
Sorry to interrupt. So when you say it's accurate in what sense? In terms of predicting where the glucose levels will be in 60 minutes time?
60 minutes,
okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So it tells you what's going to happen before it actually happens. Yeah. And we've tried to essentially bring this together and make something useful out of it, both for healthy individuals as well as people who have diabetes, because we started in the field of diabetes, but I feel like there's so much more potential when it comes to blood glucose metabolism. Hence, the name bioconscious, right? Because we want to focus on the human metabolism. And coincidentally, maybe we stumbled up on this, maybe we didn't, but glucose metabolism is the cornerstone of your metabolism. It's a key anabolic process, right? So anyways, I've been going on for a while. So did that answer your question?
Yes, I think it did. I think it did.
Sure.
So if you could address maybe how big is the market that Diabits is addressing?
Right. So let's start with the diabetes market.
Sure.
Based on genetic variation, it affects 10% of the population. 10% of the general population is diabetic. 10% of the diabetic population, which will be roughly 1% of the global population, is type 1 diabetic, which is the most severe kind, right? Or juvenile diabetes, where your body has lost the ability to produce insulin. So you have to do what your pancreas otherwise does, right? And so the market that we address is we focused on that 1% of the entire population.
What is the monetary model to this? Like, how are you actually generating money?
So we released the app December last year.
Okay, December 2017.
December 2017, and it wasn't until mid-January, where a mother that downloaded it on the App Store, found it somehow, took their Facebook support group, and it was like, yeah, I've downloaded this for my son, I've been using it for a while, it gives me predictions, it's really cool, no other app does this, blah, blah, blah. And then downloads started like going up, and we've hooked it up to our Slack channel, so every time somebody downloads it and makes an account, it beeps, and one day I noticed we'd had more than 1,000 downloads in one day, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Yeah. We had no idea this had happened. We found out after the fact. So people started downloading it, they used it, they liked it, they recommended it to somebody else who was diabetic. So it got to a point where in less than 4 months it was 5,000 users. Even if at the end of the day it was solving somebody's problem, they would be willing to pay for it. So we had about 232 users so far that have signed up for the annual subscriptions.
How big of that, or I should say, how much of that market do you think you can capture? Yes, we talked about 10% of the global population, and 10% are type 1 diabetics. But of that 1%, what do you think is kind of a target number where you said, wow, we've actually achieved what we've set out to achieve?
I think we can capture I mean, this is my unhumble entrepreneurship sort of opinion, but I think we can capture, if not all of it, half of the market.
Yeah.
Because I think once everybody sees the power of predictions, then everyone is going to try to scramble either to work with us or to try to replicate our solution.
Yeah.
Right now, the main issue that most of these companies are facing, be it Johnson & Johnson or Dexcom or whatever, is this, the hardware and sensor battle. Who can make the cheapest sensor? Who can make the lightest sensor? Who can sell more sensors, right? And they don't really have any type of analytics or brain power built into them. I think there will come a time where they, clear winners will emerge from this battle, right? The battle of sensors. And once that happens, then they're going to be like, okay, let's think about what we want to do with the data. Let's think about what we can do with, all this other sensors and try to put it together and whatnot. When that shift happens, we will be at the forefront of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So that essentially is positioning ourselves so that when that time comes, we are an attractive target.
Going public, is that something you've already kind of considered, something that is of interest to you?
Well, the short answer is yes.
You guys are going through the capital raising process right now.
Yes.
Okay, how much are you looking for, and in return, what does a investor get?
We're trying to raise about $1 million
Canadian.
Okay. To do essentially three things. Number one is build the as I mentioned, the physician-facing side of it. Second thing is for us to do more marketing. And the other thing that we're going towards is to create a device agnostic or technology agnostic solution.
What are you valuing I'm conscious at right now?
3.5 valuation wise.
Okay.
Yeah, we look
pre-money.
Well, we are not pre-money.
Pre this round, that is.
Pre this round, that is.
Okay.
Yes.
So you won the competition of the off the radar pitch, right? As I guess, what was it? The investment opportunity of the year, I think, is how they defined
it. Let me backtrack a little bit. I'm gonna give you a little bit of context.
Sure.
So going through the BC Children's pilot study, having the user growth and everything, there's been like my team, and I put my team through this, we've experienced really high highs and really low lows. So before that pitch competition, a few weeks before that, actually a couple of weeks before that, I was running out of money. So we sat down with the team and I said, if I'm not able to attract capital in the next few days, count this as your 30-day notice. That was it. It was for lack of a better word, a sobering moment. Right? I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Went there, I did the pitch. The response was overwhelmingly positive. All the judges on the panel came to talk to me afterwards and asked for a one-on-one meeting. And then I had people from the audience that actually came up. So then we went from cold to really hot in a very, very short amount of time. Like, I have people sending me emails. Like, literally, I'll show it to you on my phone this morning. It's like, oh, I'm an accredited investor. I saw the off-radar pitch. I want to invest. And I'm like, oh, I wish you were here 2 weeks ago. I do want to give a closing statement. And that is, there are a lot of people out there, a lot of people that are trying to make new things. And I'm not saying I'm special. I'm just obsessed with something, and I feel like that's a condition all the entrepreneurs suffer from. But essentially, it's as I mentioned, the lows are really low, and there will be a day where you don't have enough money to meet payroll at the end of the month. Everybody that you turn to tells you you're doing the wrong thing. You look around you and you see yourself all alone. Everybody sort of has a stable job, a paycheck coming in, and you're the only one believing in the idea, and you're the only one who's actually making it happen. And I think when that time comes, it's extremely important for the person, entrepreneur, the team, or whomever is doing it to always remember that the credit never belongs to the person who's the critic. It is worthless to an entrepreneur to point out that there are 1,000 ways that they can fail, or how they can fail, or after the fact, whether or not they did something really good or bad, or whether the deeds could have been done better. it is worthless. I think the credit belongs to the entrepreneur, the person who knows the great devotions, who's, you know, the doer of the deeds, whose, you know, face is marred by scars and blood and sweat and tears, but they're still making this happen, right? And at the end of the day, it's important to any entrepreneur who will watch this to know that, getting emotional here, the credit belongs to them. At the height of it, at the best of it, they will get the joy of high triumph, and they will be the only ones. As I mentioned, the highs are really high. And if they fail, which happens, it's okay. At least at the end of the day, they can pride themselves that they did something worth doing. And so that their place will never be with the cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I think Theodore Roosevelt said something to that extent, but that would be my closing statement. Like, if you're going at it and you're watching this video, keep going at it. One day you'll be successful.
More than just a great business or business idea or, you know, investment opportunity for potential investors, I think honestly what you're doing is noble, and it's something that you know, from the perspective of, you know, what is best for society, what is going to be good for people, what you guys are doing is, like I said, it's just noble. It's a great cause.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying
Thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hi everyone, it's been a couple of days since I conducted this interview with Amir. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. And my hopes is that you got the same impression of Amir that I did, in that he's a dedicated and passionate entrepreneur and CEO. And I think he's potentially onto some pretty spectacular stuff here with Diabits. But what Amir is interested in knowing is, what are your thoughts of Diabits? What do you think are the opportunities? What do you think are the challenges? So do him a favor and comment in the comment section below here and let him know what your thoughts are.